Hey folks, going to do a walk around of my 2023 CB500F. So the bike is stock except for put on the wheel stickers, which are actually reflective as well. They're a whole $8 off eBay. My backpack tail bag, which I've got another video on how I did that, which since that video I ended up stitching on some Velcro there to hold those straps up. And I've got the USB on there, so it's a 2-port USB, which it does put out enough power to power my GoPro without any battery in it, and my quad lock. Other than that, it's stock exhaust. Oh sorry, I have also done, which you can't tell on the video, a 1/2 bigger front cog, just to gear up and make it a little bit happier on the highway. And it does actually make the first gear a bunch nicer to use as well. So let's go for a spin. Okay, let's go out for a spin. Now it is a warm old day today here. It's the middle of summer, it's New Year's Eve 2023 in Australia. Easy way to get across speed bumps is to just pop the front wheel up over it. Okay. Now, a few things I want to talk about my little 500 is, first of all, performance. Now, it's no rocket ship, that's for sure, but it is enough power, especially if you're riding around city streets and that. It's enough to give you a giggle. It's not going to be the fastest thing to 100 km/h by a long shot, but up to 60 km/h it does alright. And it's fast enough. When I test rode it, it's not fast, but it is fun. So it's easy to throw around. People talk about getting used to the power in a bad way, and I've actually found I've gotten used to the power in a good way. Sure, you get to a point where you wish you had more power. Not so much around town. When you actually start looking at the speed and go, it gets up to 60 from like 40 km/h nice and quickly. Even in the higher gears it still accelerates well. But once you get up above 80 km/h where you start to wish you had a bit more go. It still accelerates just fine. My commute home from work on the highways at 110 km/h zone, so I've said about 70 miles an hour I think, maybe a bit under, and it sits on that just fine. It's revving relatively high now that I've geared it down. It's still up over 5,000 RPM that it's doing, but it will still accelerate up to 120 km/h, 125 km/h relatively quickly beyond that. So it's more out on the back roads if you get stuck behind someone going a bit slower, and you want to sort of nip around them where you don't have that open road to be able to wind it up a bit more. That's where you sort of really need that little bit of extra power. But as I said, I've gotten used to the power to a point where it doesn't bother me so much. When you're cruising around town, you going along at 40 km/h, coming out of the corner, give it a squirt, and you look down, you're doing 60 k an hour or more, and you know, when the speed limit's only 50 or 60 k an hour, it's not so much of an issue. So, you know, I'll go around this corner, there's 35 k an hour, and there's 60. So it does it just fine. You know, if you're on a bigger bike where you look down, suddenly you're doing 80 k an hour, and then you look up and there's a cop there, well, there goes your license. So, you know, it's a bit more fun that you can actually ring it out and not be worried so much about, oh, is there going to be a cop around the corner? Am I going to get caught doing double the speed limit or something like that, where you end up walking for a while. Handling wise, it's actually really good. I like it. It's similar weight to some of the bigger bikes I test rode, MT-07, MT-09, but because it's got a 160 rear tyre as opposed to the 180 on the bigger bikes, it is a lot more nimble to throw around. So that I found on those bigger bikes I was having to consciously counter steer, whereas on this I don't have to put as much thought into it. It just tips in much nicer, doesn't feel as heavy as those bigger bikes did, even though they're similar sort of weights to what this is. Lack of wind protection is something, but I mean, that's typical of naked bikes. You're always going to get that. I will end up getting a screen for it, just not so much an issue around the streets, but because I do a reasonable jaunt at 110 k an hour coming home from work, when I ride to work, it's 25 minutes, something like that, sitting at 110 k an hour on the motorway, so it does get a little bit tiring, do get blown around a little bit. There's a few sections of the road that are up high, and just even if the trees aren't blowing on the side of the road, you just seems to funnel the wind down that road, and it gets a bit unpleasant. Other than that, I'd normally take the back roads to work. It's a lot more fun. I've got some other videos that I'll be putting up of sections of that trip, which sort of show off as to why I go that way rather than just sitting on the relatively straight highway down. Where are we going to get straight? I actually rarely use full throttle on this, and rarely ring it out. It just sort of, when you're riding around the streets, it just sort of is kind of pointless for what I want out of the bike. If you want something that will really throw you back and do wheelies and all that sort of stuff, you'll want to look at a bigger bike. As we come past where the fruit bats roost. But for just having a bit of fun, these are certainly worth a look at. Just good fun. One thing I don't like about it is the sound, which is par for the course for a 180 degree parallel twin. You're always going to get better sound out of the offset crank or a 3 or 4 cylinder bike, but you can't have everything. So it does have the shift light pops up that you can set as to what you want that to. But you know, it's good on fuel. I did a big ride the other day where I've averaged 3 litres per 100 k's for this tank. Pretty much all of that was sort of 80 or 90 k an hour back road stuff. Again, there's neutral. Every now and then when I'm not paying enough attention, I'll find neutral. So yeah, when you're zipping around streets like this now, they're only 50, 60 k an hour limits. What benefits a 1000cc going to give you? It's just going to make you do silly things a bit more. And that was my concern with getting a bigger bike, is more worried that I was going to run out of talent doing something silly out of speed that I just wasn't going to be able to control, which I can't afford to do that. I'm the breadwinner for the family, so me not being able to work is going to be a major stress. So I've actually only just sort of gone out to get fuel, but figured I'd make a bit of a video and have a bit of cruise around while I'm doing it. A bit of cloud has come over now, which is making it a bit less hot. There's still plenty of humidity around. It is summer in Australia, so, and I'm in Queensland, so sort of halfway up the country, a little bit more maybe. So we do start to get a bit more humidity than some of the southern states, even though they'll get similar temperatures. But we've had storms most afternoons for the past couple of weeks. Had a good one come through yesterday with some pretty strong winds. A tree down in our street, and I mean we had 1.5 inches of rain in maybe 2 hours. Probably the first inch of that was in about half an hour with some pea-sized hail. A couple of weeks back we had some golf ball sized hail in a storm, so thankfully at work we didn't get that, otherwise the car would have got hammered. Just up around the corner here at the soccer ovals, they had some trees down in the storm we had on Boxing Day, I think it was. But yeah, just wanted to have a bit of a talk about my bike. It's a pretty yellow colour. I was tossing up between this and the 500X. They had a demo there that I rode. I wasn't actually able to ride the F before I bought it because this one was brand new. The 500X was a 2021 model, I think. But no, I quite liked it. The extra wind protection from it would have been a bit better than this on the highway. This fella knows what he's doing. But yeah, here's the fence that got blown down in the storm the other day, and there's still a little bit of a stump of tree there. But yeah, the 500X, I think I sort of ended up going this one just for the looks of it a little bit more. But yeah, really happy with the purchase. So if you are thinking about one of these, it's definitely worth a look. I don't think I'll end up putting a pipe on it. This bridge has got where all the joins are, there's bumps in the road, so you've got to pick a wheel track. Yeah, I don't think I'll bother putting a pipe on this. I'm not a huge fan of the way that the twins sound with the pipe down the track. I'll probably end up looking at getting a bigger bike if I end up doing more highway stuff. But it's the fact that I work 60 k's away from home, or just over 60 k's away, so straight down the highway it's a 50-minute ride. When I go the back ways it's normally somewhere between an hour and an hour 20, just depending on how much of the scenic route I take. Got it on an Indian. Managed to wave for the camera, that was nice for it. Basically this is heading towards the edge of town across the railway tracks. Say we're on the wrong side of the tracks now. Got some more trees down from yesterday's storm, branches down. Yeah, I think I've waffled on about everything I was going to mention on the bike and a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't planning on mentioning. If you have any questions about the bike, by all means shoot them down in the comment section and I'll either answer them there, or if you want me to do a video about something, let me know. I do have I'm planning on doing a video on how I've made a GoPro mount for my helmet. Just a stick-on mount using some construction putty. Because I didn't want to buy the actual mount at the moment. I've just got the chest mount on, and I'm use my Cardo as the microphone. So sort of a cheap way to do it. I was planning on originally making up a microphone just to go straight into my phone, but yeah, at the moment the Cardo is recording to my phone, and the GoPro is doing the footage, so I'll just merge them together at the end when I get around to doing the post-production. I don't really do much editing. I might put in some sort of little comments here and there, but generally I just sort of I don't do any colour editing or anything like that. So find somewhere up here to pull up and finish the video. I don't think there's anything else to do. Oh, I bumped my mirror. I don't know when I did that. Tighten my mirror up as well. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Hope you've enjoyed my little cruise around town. I'm locked down here without getting hit by this four-wheel drive. Going to the side street, I think. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys.